BYDFi is a crypto exchange on desktop and mobile where you can spot trade, futures trade, use leverage tokens, and copy the trades of top traders. If you sign up with the link in the description, you get a free $100 when you deposit $100. There's hundreds of crypto available on their spot exchange, as well as a free test account so you can practice futures trading without getting wrecked. BYDFi. Hello everybody, welcome back to Wrecked City, where we wake up in the morning and we see absolute carnage across the board. For altcoins, basically. For altcoins. The difference most that we can take away from all of this is that actually Bitcoin is still basically trending in its consolidation descending channel above its 200 exponential moving average on a daily. So this for Bitcoin is basically not too different from a normal day, given what we see here. We were talking on the live stream last night where we recognized everything looked like a pile of, steaming turd, and Bitcoin is basically just doing a similar kind of consolidation, less aggressive, but a similar kind of consolidation after its bull market beginnings in 2019. Consolidation, and then basically an accumulation of some form. So look, we've got the same sort of thing going on here. It's not all that bad really when you just focus on Bitcoin. Yeah, down 3% on the day. XRP giving up the game a little bit now, but again, you go over here, have a look at the losses that are across the board for altcoins. Horrendous, absolutely terrible. This isn't anything as opposed to be particularly shocked by when we think about what's been going on with the SEC. Now, I was watching little bits of the court cases yesterday and just trying to catch up a little bit as to what's going on. I still think that the SEC have bitten off more than they can chew, and this will all be resolved favourably in the end. But in the interim, Robinhood have now delisted their crypto assets, and I don't know what they intend on doing with their crypto assets now that they've been delisted. Are they selling them, or is it basically just fear in the markets? It's an altcoin problem. Basically, it's an altcoin problem. There's one thing that can't be taken to court, which is Mr. Bitcoin Satoshi himself. He's not going to court. There's no CEO to Bitcoin, is there really? And that has proven itself to be the case. When we look at the dominance chart here, we're actually broken out now at this point now, and pushing up above this 48.7% dominance chart. So yeah. Bitcoin is still the best place to be. We took educated guests on trying to move into altcoins from some of the Bitcoin that we bought. None of that actually worked out very well, to be fair. Some coins I see seem to hold up better than others, but for the most part, it's still a Bitcoin-driven market. And the fear for Bitcoin is less so than the fear for altcoins, which is horrendous. They're the ones under attack. Right, so think about Bitcoin specifically, still within the channel. The channel brings us down, if we were to do it today, to 25,000, so another $700 drop. We've got a 200 exponential, which has crossed this time now inside the descending channel. But if we were to lose that, then yeah, we come back down to another deeper drop. So it's the 24,350 and potentially even lower than that to 23,500. These have all been marked up on the chart with these moving averages for a little while now. But look, while being above a 200 exponential and a 200 simple, the higher term time frames being those two are still moving up. They're still showing continuation, not divergence on the shorter term timeframes, but continuation on the higher term moving average trend. Let's have a look over here then, see what's been going on the old momentum. So as far as momentum on the MACD, crossed below the 0 point, further downside, probably expected. We could print some bullish divergence on the daily there, but it's nothing much to write home about, to be honest with you. Same thing on the 4 hourly. There could be a drive of bullish divergence get printed over here, and that would be nice to see us come down to the bottom of the range once again. So 25,000 flat is where we'd be looking for a bounce. Long story short, because there's no reason to stretch this video out longer than it needs to be. Recognize that Bitcoin is the main thing to focus on, and if we just look at the channel itself, the channel is so far so good, being respected, and we should still expect a support at the bottom of the channel, which is roughly around 25,000 today and tomorrow. If that was to get lost, then obviously we've got our levels that we've marked off, 24,350, and then obviously the lowest target is around 23,350. So increments of about $1,000 drops each time. If you fancy buying some blood, feel free to do so. This is similar to a black swan event. This is something that could be taken advantage of for the long term for altcoins. Recognize long term being the most appropriate way to try and play this, because in the short term you might find yourself having a dead cat bounce, similar to what we saw this time round. Bullish engulfing candle, which ended up failing. So it was a V-shaped recovery and ended up in a failure. Look, if we bounce around in this channel, and I've been saying this on the videos, definitely been saying it on the streams, if we extend this 200 simple moving average in its current trajectory, we find ourselves sort of finding a bottoming area on a time-wise basis around the end of June, potentially beginning of next month. We should still maintain that $24,000 area. Losing the $24,000 zone is a bit of a problem, but for the moment, a consolidation still in this formation, moving us down bit by bit, up and down, but generally sideways and down to the end of this month, where we might find ourselves scraping out this, carving out a low roughly around the 24,500-ish area. But until then, sideways and down is probably still the most appropriate thing to expect for Bitcoin, but it's not the worst thing you've ever seen in the world. If you look at the dollar cost average into anything, that's fine. Bitcoin still being your preference, altcoins being a bit more of a gamble, but depending on what you've chosen and why you've chosen it, you have to think about it on a fundamental perspective, because there isn't really any charts out there aside from XRP, which has still got some redeeming factors to it. But given what we're seeing in the markets at the moment, you could probably write this one off as well now. But it's still one of the better charts in crypto, generally speaking. But if you're looking to buy into altcoins, obviously do it recognizing the risk in the short term being pretty significant, to be honest with you. We're already down, and we can continue to go down, especially if we target Bitcoin's 23,350-ish area, in the immediate term time frame. But by the end of this month, we should know a lot more about which direction we want to continue in. Is this going to be an extended downtrend that brings Bitcoin, down towards 20,000 or not? I'll leave it in the same way that I left the Patreon live stream last night, which is basically to summarize. Look, Bitcoin's still consolidating in a consolidation formation. It's not a big deal. It's still doing its same thing, which is the sideways and down, sideways and down. But if we were to consider this to be similar to how Bitcoin was performing around here, most people didn't catch the bottom. Why would they? I did. But not many people did. I mean, look, I didn't catch the bottom. I bought below 4,000, fair play. Most people would have thought to have bought around here, around 6,000, 6,500. And maybe some people would have bought 10,000, maybe 12. And if all of that had been done, for the most part, you'd be sideways for a period of about 2 years. So if we think about that sort of thing happening again, because again, I have to reiterate, there's not really a great deal of difference this time round than there was on the previous bull market beginnings in 2019, right? Not much difference at all as far as structure and time frame are concerned. So we should think about, where's the accumulation for now? Where is this sideways trajectory for Bitcoin? What is it going to look like? And at the moment, if we were to try to match the two, I'd say that the accumulation is roughly around 20,000, probably more along the lines of around 22,000 lows to be fair, around about 32,000 highs. This is the equivalent of your 6,000 to your equivalent of around 12,000. And so if we hang around in this sideways trajectory for, let's just say, another 18 months or so, it would mimic the same way that we fannied around in this kind of area in the last bull market. And in this last bull market, this all was a bull market, people didn't feel like it was, but it was a bull market. This is what bull markets look like, and they end like this. You get rewarded in the end. And there's all kinds of things that, miniature seasons, alt seasons, DeFi seasons, meme coin seasons. This time around, there'll be AI seasons, there'll be layer 2 seasons, there'll be all kinds of seasons. But right now, there is no season. There's just a continued winter. It's an Arctic breeze is what's taking place at the moment. And so we just got to roll with the punches for the moment, focusing on Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's the main driver, the only thing that's really respecting its chart, to be fair. There's going to be some odd altcoins out there that do have reasonable charts. XRP still, to be honest, still being one of them, in all fairness. Although we are losing those supports now. But look, for the most part, altcoins are pretty much a write-off for the moment. And that's fine. Let them write off. Just a little glimmer of hope for you, just to let you know a couple of little things just to keep you going. The first time I ever bought XRP was 2016. I bought it around about 2 or 3 cents thereabouts. Okay, it was basically up and mostly down for me, right? Mostly down. Then I was up and then I was down, and then I ended up doing 100x. Okay, same thing I could apply to Matic in the last bull run. Sort of average entry price, you know, around about 1.2 cent. I was up, I was down. I was up, I was down. I was sideways, and then ended up doing 100x. When I bought Ethereum in the last bull market, bought it at 160. I was up, I was down. I was up, I was down, I was sideways. And then, even now, even today, still up pretty significantly. Time in the market, for the most part, trumps timing the market. Although you want to try and do as much of both of those as possible. So if you're looking to have time in the market and you have cash on standby, or you're looking to dollar cost average, then days like today, where we see everything completely wrecked city, is just one opportunity to start the dollar cost averaging process. If we go down further, you dollar cost average more. If we go up, you dollar cost average a bit more. It doesn't really matter because the end goal is not for quite a while. We've got plenty of time to run on this bull market all the way over to around about these areas over here, where we would expect to see a rinse and repeat market cycle for Bitcoin, kapow, all the way up, and all of this SEC madness likely to be resolved, and for one way or another. And remember, the SEC is just America. It's just America. There's Europe, there's Asia, and if you look at it on proportional on a global basis, there's probably way more opportunity over in the Asian markets, and obviously European markets want a piece of this. Even the UK is not wanting to miss out on this. And I think that the way that America are choosing to interpret crypto as securities is a big mistake, and I think this is going to come out as a big mistake. They were cutting their nose off to spite the face. I don't see this. Regulation by enforcement as the right way to go about it, and I don't think I really don't think that this is how it's going to pan out. I think that the SEC are going to leave with egg on their face, and there's going to be a U-turn, to be honest. But the question is there going to be a U-turn? When will there be a U-turn? It doesn't really matter. We've got another 2.5 years worth of bull market to prepare for, and big drops down is opportunity central. But again, based on Bitcoin alone, we are descending triangle. I suppose it is a descending triangle. It's more, but there's a triangle within a channel. Either way, the channel has more likely to break out, and I would predict this to continue to go down towards the end of this month, where we find a low and then finally break out and probably have a good end to the year. Right, thanks for watching. I hope you have a nice day, as best you can. Take it easy.